Cashmere is one of the oldest and most prestigious luxury fibers in history. Long before it appeared in modern wardrobes or sophisticated, elegant outfits, it was known as the fabric of kings. Not because it was flashy, but because it was rare, difficult to produce, and instantly recognizable by those who understood quality. Even today, you will still find cashmere quietly featured in the collections of some of the world's most respected luxury fashion houses. In these brands, cashmere is not heavily advertised. It is taken for granted, almost as a subtle signal that the garment is not created to impress strangers, but to please the wearer. The story of cashmere begins in Kashmir, a mountainous region where artisans first learned to work with the incredibly soft undercoat of local goats. From there, cashmere became highly prized in the Persian and Mughal courts, where rulers wore it as a symbol of sophistication and power. These were not garments meant to stand out from the crowd. They were created to be recognized by connoisseurs. By the 18th century, cashmere had spread to Europe, and the fascination followed. French and English aristocrats collected cashmere shawls much like others collected art or jewelry. Owning cashmere was no longer just about keeping warm. It was about status, access, and taste. To this day, its mystique remains undiminished. Some cashmere garments now sell for $2,000, $10,000, even $25,000 or more. Billionaires, royalty, and celebrities still choose it, but discreetly. No logos, no ostentation. Just soft, delicate pieces that look simple until you understand their value. And that is where the debate begins. Is cashmere really worth the price? Essentially, cashmere is a natural fiber derived from the ultrafine undercoat of cashmere goats, a species that inhabits some of the coldest regions on Earth. Unlike regular wool, this undercoat grows to protect the goats from extreme temperatures, and it is this function that gives cashmere its softness, lightness, and excellent warmth-retaining properties. Cashmere is available on the market today in a fairly wide price range. In the budget segment, you will find mass-produced cashmere sweaters priced between $80 and $130. These are often made with shorter yarns, usually in a finer weave, and while initially soft, they tend to pill quickly. In the mid-range segment, around $200 to $500, quality improves significantly, longer fibers, better spinning techniques, denser construction, and products that can last for years if properly cared for. Then comes the high-end segment, where prices skyrocket. From $1,000 up to $25,000 and up, this is the world of brands like Loro Piana, Brunello Cucinelli, and the Rao. Here, cashmere is treated not just as a fabric, but as a precious raw material, refined through rigorous sourcing, strict quality control, and meticulous finishing. And that, of course, raises the question, why does the same fiber have a price range from under $100 to tens of thousands of dollars? And more importantly, after centuries of innovation, why has anything truly replaced cashmere? The history of cashmere is the first answer to the question of why it is so expensive. The name Kashmir originates from Kashmir, a land where exquisite hand-weaving traditions transformed the wool of young goats into a high-quality fabric. For centuries, cashmere was favored by Persian nobility and Mughal emperors for its warmth, softness, and sophistication. In the late 18th century, cashmere entered Europe, where demand exploded. French and English aristocrats regarded cashmere shawls as a status symbol, not just ordinary clothing. One of the most famous cashmere enthusiasts was Joséphine de Beauharnais, who is said to have owned hundreds of them. At that time, cashmere became one of the world's first globally luxurious materials. Scarcity is the root cause of cashmere wool's high price, and it starts with its origin. A cashmere goat produces only about 150 to 250 grams of usable yarn per year. Compared to sheep, which can yield several kilograms of wool annually, the imbalance becomes immediately apparent. To make just a basic cashmere sweater, manufacturers typically need the annual output of 3 to 5 goats. For thicker sweaters, coats, or layered clothing, that number is even higher. From the outset, the supply is limited in a way that most other textiles do not have. That scarcity is exacerbated by where cashmere wool can thrive. Cashmere goats only grow their precious undercoat in extremely cold climates, where winter temperatures frequently drop below freezing. Regions like Inner Mongolia, the Tibetan Plateau, and the Himalayas are not only ideal, they are essential. The colder and harsher the environment, the more the goats must protect themselves, and the finer and thicker their undercoat becomes. In other words, it is the animal's discomfort that creates the luxury that humans crave. You cannot replicate that with a warmer climate, controlled farms, or industrial shortcuts. Next is the harvesting process, which remains traditional. Cashmere wool is not sheared like sheep's wool. Instead, it is hand-combed once a year, usually in the spring, when goats naturally shed their winter undercoat. This process is slow, labor-intensive, and requires precise timing. Missing the right time results in wasted wool. Rushing the process reduces quality. No machine can do it better than the skillful hands of a human, and that limits the amount of cashmere that can be brought to market each year. But even after harvesting, the work has only just begun. Raw cashmere wool contains fats, dirt, and rough outer fibers that are unsuitable for high-end clothing. Through a rigorous sorting and processing process, the wool is cleaned and separated. Only the longest, finest fibers, those with the right micron count and length, qualify as premium cashmere. A significant portion is discarded or downgraded during production. This is not wasteful excess, it is precision. The difference between average cashmere and premium cashmere is often measured in millimeters and micrometers. All this effort is aimed at preserving cashmere's unparalleled physical properties. It is 6 to 8 times warmer than traditional wool, yet significantly lighter. It insulates without being bulky, is breathable without retaining moisture, and remains comfortable across a wide temperature range. At the same time, high-quality cashmere possesses incredible durability. When properly spun, knitted, and cared for, it can last for decades. In combination, these factors create a perfect storm of extremely limited supply, harsh growing conditions, manual labor, rigorous quality selection, and performance that modern materials still struggle to replicate. Cashmere is not expensive because someone decided it should be. It is expensive simply because there is no easy way to produce more without destroying what makes it special in the first place. Despite being revered as the material of the gods, cashmere wool today is at the heart of some of the most heated debates in modern fashion, revolving around ethical, environmental, and long-term value issues. The most pressing issue is environmental damage, particularly the desertification of the Mongolian steppes. As global demand for cashmere wool skyrockets, partly driven by fast fashion brands, the goat population has increased dramatically. Unlike sheep, goats eat grass down to the roots, preventing regeneration. Their constant movement compacts the soil, reducing its water retention capacity. The results are alarming. Over 70% of Mongolia's grasslands are now at risk of desertification, with dust storms reaching as far as China, South Korea, and Japan. Then there is the issue of animal welfare. Organizations like PETA have criticized cashmere wool production after leaked footage showed goats being aggressively groomed with metal tools. Critics argue that the process causes stress and pain to the animals. There are also concerns about timing. Cashmere wool is crucial insulation, and if goats are groomed too early or too aggressively, they may not survive sudden cold spells. Finally, there is the debate about cheap cashmere wool. Many experts argue that sweaters priced between $50 and $100 devalue the wool itself. To achieve that price point, brands often use short or easily frayed yarns, turning a material once durable into disposable fashion. Some people suggest alternatives, recycled cashmere wool or vegan cashmere wool, but so far none have fully matched the warmth, durability, and feel of real cashmere wool. Despite its controversies, cashmere has carved out a very special place in modern life. You will not find it on the red carpet, laden with logos, but in places where comfort, confidence, and discretion are paramount: boards, private jets, quiet dinners, and the everyday wardrobes of the global elite. It has become the uniform for those who do not need status-conscious clothing. The brands shaping modern cashmere reflect that mindset. Loro Piana treats cashmere as a precious raw material, focusing on its origin and finishing rather than trends. Brunello Cucinelli builds entire collections around the material, combining its softness with subtle lines and a philosophy of human-centered luxury. In both cases, cashmere is not the accent. It is the foundation. Those who wear it often do so discreetly. Mark Zuckerberg is often seen in basic, bespoke cashmere pieces that look almost ordinary. Angelina Jolie favors flowing, long cashmere gowns that exude a calm, authoritative air. Gwyneth Paltrow has made neutral-toned cashmere pieces a key element in her everyday style. What makes cashmere irreplaceable is not just its warmth. It is its weightlessness, the way it drapes, its softness against the skin, and the comfort it brings to daily life. It is logo-free elegance, and that is precisely the key. What I have realized over time is simple. I do not buy cashmere because it is expensive. I buy it for the feel of wearing it after months, even years. In the United States, I usually find Cashmere at stores like Macy's or Nordstrom for everyday wear, and Saks Fifth Avenue for truly luxurious items. My advice is straightforward. Start with mid-range products, prioritize yarn quality over brand, and buy less but better quality. If you like my analysis, please like my video. Why is it so expensive? If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on what topic you would like me to cover in the next video. See you next time.